1960s in Wales, a couple events angered the population. Firstly, there was a small town that was flooded in order to create a reservoir, and the water from this reservoir was sent to Liverpool in England, and the town of Aberfan was all but destroyed when a spoil tip collapsed, slid downhill and killed people, mainly children in the village. Very little was done to persecute those responsible for the second disaster, and this, amongst other things, angered the population. So, in the mid-1960s, the Free Wales Army was created to liberate Wales from Britain. The leader, K.O. Evans, said that he had an army of hundreds, but it is now believed that he only had an army of 20. However, because there were photos released of his men in uniform and doing military drills, it was taken very seriously because of the troubles that were flaring up in Northern Ireland. So the government investigated the Free Wales Army, and in a report recently revealed, the government said that the photos were nothing to be worried about. It was merely people posing and there was no military drills taking part, and they also said that Evans had a mental age of a 12-year-old. However, despite the lack of men and weapons, their interviews gave the courts enough to prosecute them, and many of the leaders were sent to prison in 1969. But there was a more serious Welsh terrorist organisation that cropped up, the Movement for the Defence of Wales. These were linked to a series of bombings throughout the 1960s, like at the dam site in 1966, and at the Temple of Peace and Health here in Cardiff in 1968. But these were conducted by just a very small number of people, and most of them were arrested a couple of years later. However, Welsh terrorism didn't end there, because fast forward to the 1970s and an economic downturn led to a housing crisis. However, many English people continued buying houses here in Wales as holiday homes, and couple this with a sharp decline in the Welsh language, and many people began calling for independence again. So, beginning in 1979, Welsh terrorists began firebombing English holiday homes, and over the next 15 years, around 200 or so were bombed, and they were also accused of sending letter bombs as well. However, by the 90s, the attacks just sort of fizzled out, and that could be because in the 90s the Welsh Assembly was created, and the English only owned 1% of Welsh houses, and this is going down from about 12% in the 1970s. So you could say that they sort of achieved their goals. And while I'm on it, I should also mention the Cornish National Liberation Army, which in the 2000s sent threatening letters to the celebrity chef Jamie Oliver because he had restaurants in Cornwall. However, this seems to be the extent of their actions, so it's hard to really call it an army.